Geeks with beards, geeks with beards. Look who's here, geeks with beards. No need to fear, we're right here. We got beards, so listen clear. Geeks with beards, geeks with beards. Look who's here, geeks with beards. No need to fear, we're right here. I'm in your ear, so listen clear. No one else doing it like us. Also, we just might cuss, just cause. No, we ain't playing, and we're just saying, and we're making a podcast. It's cold.
We came to this farm for my favorite presidential tradition, pardoning the Thanksgiving turkey.
Hello, everybody, and this is episode 12 of the Geeks with Beards podcast. I'm your host, Dan, with your other host, Sean, and this is our Thanksgiving episode. So at the end of the episode, we'll do a little Thanksgiving talk, but today we're going to be covering 2009's Image Comics Haunt, the first 5 issues. A little background real quick. It was co-created by Todd Mcfarland and Robert Kirkman, debuted in October of 2009 and ended in December of 2012 after 28 issues. Up till issue 19, it was basically Kirkman and Mcfarland. Greg Capullo did the art and everything, and then by issue 19, Joe Casey and Nathan Fox took over as new creative team. Supposedly, what I'd read was the interest and the fan reception kind of dropped after that because they introduced it more into the Spawn universe, which originally the book was not included with Spawn. So that's what we're going to be covering today. But before we get into that, let's catch up, Sean, what we've been going on for the past couple of weeks, man.
Well, we're finally slowing down on shows now, so hopefully that'll be good.
Yeah, you just had a banger of a show this past Friday as of this recording here in Marshtown, didn't you?
Right down the street.
Hell yeah, man.
Entertainment-wise, let's see. I've been watching Cobra Kai.
Ooh.
I got one more episode of that left. It's been pretty good. And then comic-wise, I read the new Batman today, or the newest one I got. Let me tell you, Batman's world has changed a lot since we've read it.
Last time I touched it, man, it was New 52.
All right, well, Commissioner Gordon's got his own PI business. Bruce has started like a bunch of renovations to Gotham.
Putting some money into redoing some buildings and infrastructure and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like helping the homeless and
a
bunch of charity kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he's using Wayne Enterprises' money to do it.
Which I would think he's probably been doing that. They just hadn't really put it in the comics that much.
Yeah.
Probably.
But here's a head scratcher. Riddler is pretty much Elon Musk of Gotham right now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. He started his own tech company. He's got his own cryptocurrency.
Sounds like Batman Forever a little bit there.
He's been exonerated of all of his crimes in the last couple of years, apparently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So now we got to get caught up on that and find out how that happened.
Yeah. The new commissioner is...
Oh, so Gordon's not the police commissioner anymore. He's just a PI.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He started his own business, apparently with Bullock and somebody else.
So he took some people with him from the PD.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess Bullock just went back to the PD because, I don't know the details. Vandal Savage.
Vandal Savage?
Vandal Savage.
Fuck, is that immortal dude? He's the commissioner now?
He's the commissioner.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. And, yeah. Batman's got a girl who's stitching him up instead of Alfred.
Is Alfred still there, though?
Yeah, he's still there.
Okay.
Sure. I'll get back to that.
Wow, Batman definitely has changed. With granted, God, New 52 ended, 10 years ago or more, so damn.
Oh, I'm glad you said that. And the Court of Owls are running the city.
My world has just fell apart now.
Yeah. They're working with the mayor.
Okay.
Or they're pretty much telling the mayor what to do, and the mayor's like, he got shot in this issue.
Okay.
But he was an Asian man.
Is it one of those things I wonder where Batman is trying to fight against them? Maybe because he knows there's corruption that they're hiding underneath their...
Oh, there's more. Wait, I forgot about this.
Okay.
They were going to do something at the end, and then, Bruce's company, there's a girl at the company. I guess she's a mole working for the Riddler.
Okay.
Trying to convince Batman to do a merger with the Riddler, where Batman is the principal shareholder.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the rest of the people took a vote, and somebody else is taking his shares, and it turns out to be his brother.
Wait, Bruce got a brother?
Yeah. I believe that was in the Court of Owls storyline, like, briefly.
It might have been. I don't remember. So like I said, it's been a while since I've read
Yeah.
Batman comic books. Wow, that's crazy, man. How the universe has changed.
That's just from one issue.
Damn.
Yeah.
That is
So I'm glad I waited to read
ridiculous.
that till today.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. It's a lot of information to absorb out
Yeah.
there for Batman universe. I'd hate to see what happened to Superman.
Haven't picked that one up.
Yeah.
But this is just Batman. I'm going to see what's going on in Detective
Right.
Comics, too. Anyway, what have you been up to?
Well, not reading anything that really exciting. Same old stuff. But I picked up the new miniseries of the Sectars comic that Oni Press is doing.
Okay.
I picked the first issue of that up. And if nobody's familiar with Sectars, briefly, it was a short-lived 80s toy line where they were kind of insectoid humans, kind of. It had a 5-episode cartoon and about an 8-issue comic book from Marvel. So it was short-lived. It didn't get the publicity like a lot of other 80s properties did. The toys came out around 85, 86, lasted maybe a year, only had like 9 figures. But they're pretty cool. So this comic book is basically kind of a retelling because a new company called Nacelle are doing new action figures, and they're trying to create what they call the Nacelle-verse, which involves Sectars, Biker Mice from Mars, I forgot the other ones now, Robo Force, and there's another one I forget. But they're doing a whole lot of toys, so they're trying to build a universe. And the first issue was pretty good. It's a retelling of the story. Prince Dargon is over the Shining Realm, which is the good side of the planet, and the planet's called Symbion. And the evil side, I forgot exactly what they call it, but those creatures more look like spiders and the nasty looking insects to where Dargon is more kind of human looking in the face, but they still have antenna and stuff. So it's really cool reading into that because I'd never read the original comics. Let's see, Thundercats, I read that issue. Nothing really spectacular to speak about on that one. I'm really excited to get the first issue of G.I. Joe by Skybound. It's finally dropping after all the miniseries they've done. We're finally getting the first issue of the G.I. Joe comic. And I've heard a lot of people, because they got it came out last week. And the way, we get our comics through Atomic, I'm about a week behind sometimes on release dates. So I've been trying not to spoil myself, but people have been like, oh my God, you got to read it. So I'm really excited about that.
That's a good sign.
TV-wise, I finished The Penguin. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Whenever you get a chance to watch it, man, God, that last episode, it hits you right in the feels, man. It really does. It's an amazing show. But, yeah, other than that, it's been about it. You had a way better comic book experience than I have reading comics the past couple of weeks. So
Well, it's neat to see it after so long because it's probably been since Rebirth. Was that after New 52?
It was. I don't know if I got any of the Rebirth Batman or not. I feel like I might have got a couple of the Supermans, and I know I kept up with Green Lantern, but I don't think I did Batman after New 52 ended. I don't believe. That's just crazy, man. I can't believe all those different changes that happened in the universe, man. But again, that's like a decade worth almost that we've been kind of separated from it in a way. So
Yeah.
that's crazy. But yeah, so I guess we'll get into today's episode. And like I said, we're covering Haunt from Image Comics.
Or like I like to call it Venom too.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. This episode, we're going to do a little, it's only like I said, it's our Thanksgiving episode. We might do this a little loosier, kind of just doing overall kind of chat about it instead of covering it issue by issue like we normally do. Definitely, like Sean said, it's definitely kind of Venom 2.0 in a way, I guess. You can definitely see Venom influences, the Spider-Man influences. Of course, Todd worked on them.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see some of the poses. When Haunt's leaping and stuff, it looks just like Spider-Man, and he's shooting the stuff, the ectoplasm, I guess you would call it.
That's what I got from it.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Venom, symbiote kind
It's
of.
close enough just not to get sued.
Yeah. Well, Todd's like, I don't think they'll mind.
I created the freaking character.
I created the damn characters, but... So yeah, basically, give just a kind of overall thing here, then we'll kind of get into a few details of the 5 issues. It's about 2 brothers. Daniel and Kurt Kilgore. Daniel is a priest, but he's got some demons and some skeletons and stuff, he's dealing with and living with. Kurt's a government agent, kind of a black ops kind of guy.
That's what I got from it.
Yeah,
Like,
kind of hush,
Yeah.
They don't get along, and we find out why here in a little while. They don't really get along too well. And Kurt shows up at least, I don't know, once a month or whenever he gets done with a mission and comes to Daniel and does confession. And this particular time that we see him come do confession, we meet up with Daniel. He's with a lady of the night, that apparently he visits regularly, according to the government agency that he gets in contact with later. Kind of has a conversation with her. He leaves, goes to the church, and he runs into his brother Kurt. They kind of have a little bit of a spat. You can tell there's some tension between them. Don't really know why just yet. They go and do confession, and Kurt explains to him this last mission that he went on. It really bothered him. And basically his mission was to collect a professor named Schillinger and a notebook that he had with him. And we later discover that Schillinger has been supposedly doing some experiments, kind of developing a way for wounds to kind of heal, you know, almost invulnerability kind of in a way. Mm-hmm. But you find out in the first issue that he's been doing some human experiments. Apparently he was doing experiments on cadavers, you know, dead bodies, but he moved on to human experiments. And when Kurt finds this out, he's appalled by it. Because you see these people, and bless their hearts, these people are just got look like boils and just deformed, disfigured.
Yeah, they look kind of like the zombies in Last of Us.
Yeah, and apparently those parts of their body are the result of the experiments. Like, they don't feel pain on those parts of the bodies. Like, I guess it's the cells are reproducing so quickly it just disfigured them. Mm-hmm. So Kurt ends up taking and killing Dr. Schillinger, shoots him right in the head. Basically, he looks at him. He doesn't say this, but basically you get that look from Kurt, and he looks at Schillinger, and he's like, "You nasty son of a bitch," and just shoots him right in the head. And while he's doing that, he's got the earpiece talking to his superiors. Basically, he's like, "What did you do?" And he's like, "You just don't understand what I'm looking at. You don't understand what this doctor has been doing." And as he's killed the doctor, you see a shadowy figure drop down from the ceiling and grab the notebook. And Kurt didn't know this. Well, you don't think he knows this at the time. And I believe the country that we were in I believe it was Bolivia. Wasn't it Bolivia?
Yeah, that's right.
So he kills the doctor and rescues the people. It's about 6 or 7 people that he rescues. And he comes and we cut back to, he's talking to Daniel, telling about all that stuff like that. And he's like, "Look," he's like, "I've killed a lot of people. And, you know, I can deal with that as part of my job." He said, "What I saw when I opened that container up," he said, "just blew my mind," you know, because I guess he hadn't never seen anything like that, human experiments and stuff. So, you know, you see all that stuff. And after he leaves the church, after he talks to Daniel, he notices somebody's following him. And he looks behind him. He's like, "Fuck." And he gets kidnapped and gets thrown into a van. And you don't know what's happening to him. You have no idea. And you find out that the people that kidnapped him, they want the notebook. They want to know where it's at. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. What notebook? There was no notebook there. And he's got this big, bald, muscly guy kind of doing the whole interrogation and torture situation. And he walks out and talks to this lady. And the lady, he tells the lady, like, he's not telling me anything. I don't think he legitimately knows about the notebook. This is pretty dark here. She basically tells the interrogator, she tells him, she says, "Well," she says, "numb him from the waist down and cut off his penis. And if he still doesn't tell you anything, I guess he really doesn't know, kill him. He's no use to us."
That's pretty brutal.
I'm like, what the hell, woman? We got some Lorena Bobbitt stuff going on here. It's like, what in the hell?
Gotta get those answers, man.
Man, that's why I don't do government work. I couldn't. I would be like the one character from Deadpool 2 when Cable was getting ready to interrogate him. He was like, I'll tell you everything. I can't stand pain.
This is where I got confused because right after that panel, it jumps to where the one brother's in the car, the priest.
Yeah, they're at Kurt's funeral.
Yeah. Well, see, I didn't realize that was his funeral. I thought he was just talking to him like, this is really weird, like the way they jump to it.
Yeah, they just kind of jump cut from one page to the next like that, yeah.
Which I've not read a Kirkman comic before.
This was the first one. Of course, now some of the Skybound stuff I'm reading, the Unirjohn universe, he's writing some of that. But yeah, that was the first Kirkman book I ever read.
Okay, so eventually I'd like to do Walking Dead when we get the time.
Yeah. I did read a little Walking Dead because I think one of our coworkers let me and you borrow an omnibus at one time. So we did read a little bit of that once. But so, yeah, like you were saying, we cut to Daniel. He's sitting in a car, and he's at the funeral of Kurt's, which we find out eventually. And Kurt's in the car with him. It's like, what in the hell? And it's his spirit, his ghost, basically. And he's warning Daniel that he was killed, because these people killed him because they thought he had this notebook that belonged to the professor. And then he tells Daniel, he's like, "You need to go check on my wife." because they think that I don't have it, but they might think she has it, so they'll go after her next and could kill her. And he said, I don't want anything to happen to my wife. Daniel's a little hesitant, basically kind of tells Kurt to go screw the hell away, screw off, man. And you find out the reason why is because at one point, Daniel had feelings for Kurt's wife. And supposedly Kurt had stole her away from him somehow, I guess. Didn't really specify that.
That's what I got from it, is that they were actually getting ready to be in a relationship, and then he just
somehow, I mean, don't get me wrong, she's guilty as well, because unless she didn't know Daniel cared about her, but I feel like reading these issues, I think she did know, but for some reason she left him and went with Kurt. So Kurt finally Daniel kind of begrudgingly decides, okay, I'll go check on her, just because, I do still care about her. So he goes and checks on her. They talk a little bit, and she kind of looks at him. She's like, Daniel, and he's like, no, just don't. He's like, I'm just don't. He's like, I'm here just to make sure you're okay, make sure you're safe. He falls asleep on the couch. He wakes up. Kurt's hollering at him. He's like, wake up. And he wakes up, and there's two guys kind of dressed in black. They're like government agent guys. They break into the home, and this is the first time we see what can happen between Kurt and Daniel. Is basically Kurt possesses him, and when he does that, he becomes Haunt. Like he is encased in ectoplasm or something, and he becomes a Venom-looking kind of character in a way, kind of white, gray, a little bit of black on him and stuff.
Basically looks like a cross between the black symbiote suit and like white Venom.
Yeah, almost kind of an anti-Venom in a way. But I noticed reading it, the jaw is like the only part that's not covered by the ectoplasm, I guess you could say.
This is kind of like Vanilla Ice covering Queen. It has the ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, there you go. So he's possessed, and Daniel didn't know what the hell's going on. They killed the two bad guys. Kurt tells Daniel that, hey, we need to clean this up. And he's like, huh, what? I don't know how to do that. What are you talking about? He's like, look, there's a guy to call, a cleaner, kind of like in John Wick, He's like, there's this number. He's like, just call them. They'll take care of everything. So Daniel calls. This big guy comes in. He's got some sunglasses, and he's got his hair back in a ponytail. And he basically asked Daniel, he's like, how did you know to call me? And he tells him Kurt. Kurt gave him a number, whatever. And he starts breaking down. He's like, man, I loved Kurt. He was such a good guy. He was just a great person. He asked Daniel how long he's got. And Daniel basically says, well, Kurt's widow, she's got to be at work at like 6 a.m. or something like that. And he's like, okay, we got a few hours. Plenty of time. Won't even know I'm here.
I'm professional.
Won't know anything happened.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do they... Because I didn't get it from when I was reading it. Do they say did he already have the suit? Did Kurt already have the suit?
Mm-mm.
Or did it just happen right then?
Okay. Yeah, there is a moment, it's in one of the later issues, where they're at the government facility. Remember they're in jail with not in jail, kind of, but that one lady that's crawling on the floor, she kind of explains it to him a little bit about what Haunt is. I want to say I wrote that down in my notes. I hope I did.
Right. Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. So the cleaners, he cleans everything up, gets rid of the dead bodies and everything. Daniel leaves. Amanda is the widow's name. He leaves her because he feels like she's okay now. He's going to church, goes back to work for the day, and he finds a fellow priest who's dead. He's been gutted, just like laying in his office on his desk or whatever. And you find out he was killed by another kind of government assassin named Cobra. And I'm like, okay, Cobra, all right. Again, of course, he's there because they're going down the line. Kurt didn't have it. Apparently Amanda didn't have it, so we'll go to the brother. Maybe Daniel knows about the notebook. That's why Cobra's there. But now he reminds me kind of a super villain, a Spawn villain kind of, because he's definitely got like all the tactical gear on and the knives and the guns and all that shit like that. Kind of overkill, but not like, cyborg looking or anything. So they fight a little bit. Of course, Kurt is there. Kurt's telling Daniel, basically, he's like, well, I don't know if I can beat this guy. Like, he's like top of the notch. He's like top of the line kind of assassin. He's like, he's going to be hard to beat. So he possesses Daniel again, and they fight him. They don't kill him, but he does shoot Haunt, but Cobra doesn't get killed. They kind of wound him a little bit. And Kurt says, look, we need to go somewhere. We need some help. So basically they go to this house, and it looks like it's like a rundown home or whatever, but you find out it's basically a front and kind of a secret entrance for the government agent that Kurt worked for. So they go into an elevator and they go downstairs and the elevator opens up and Daniel's like, what the hell? What is all this? Kurt, he's like, look, just be calm, no sudden movements, and just say, look, I need your help, and explain to him what's going on. Of course, Daniel doesn't listen. So they ask him basically, why are you here? Who are you? He kind of makes a sudden movement like, oh, I need your help. He gets shot like right in the head with a tranq dart and knocks him out. And Kurt's like, I told you no sudden moves. And I don't think they never say like what this agency is. I don't know if it's CIA, FBI,
It's just a government
it's just some kind of secret government agency. Hell, it could have been, what was the one in Spawn? Was it?
Oh, gosh.
M6 or something.
It's been a while.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, again, once they introduced him to Spawn universe, what all that was going on. So Daniel wakes up in the holding cell, and that's when Kurt's like, no sudden moves, man, you didn't listen. And they're in there with the Bolivian people that Kurt had rescued from the experiments. And there's a woman in there, and she's crawling around on the floor, kind of seductive like. Daniel's like, hello. And she can see Kurt. And he's like, wait, you can see him? And, she's basically kind of like, yeah. And she calls him Haunt. That's when he officially gets the name Haunt. That's the first time we really even get that name was here. And this is issue 3. She calls him Haunt and says that Kurt's spirit, his soul, is bonded to Daniel. And says that Daniel's life feeds Kurt's spirit. And it protects him and keeps him from crossing over. But Daniel's like, why not willingly keeping him here? He just popped up. He's just here. And that's really the quick explanation we get is that just somehow because of them being blood relatives and brothers, I guess because he was murdered, it's one of those unfinished business kind of things, maybe. It's what I got.
It's kind of janky the way they're putting this together. Like,
because she doesn't really give you, that's really the only explanation she gives you. Just like, you guys are brothers, and being relatives, being blood relatives, your spirit is bonded to his, and it's keeping him from crossing over to whichever side he would go to. It keeps him alive, and it also protects him, and he can protect you, and it's really vague. Now, again, this is only the first 5 issues. Maybe later on they explain that. And if they do, and listeners, if you've read any more of this, please let us know. Because we've just cut the 5 issues all that we're covering. So, we get 2 agents that start interrogating Daniel and want to know, how did he get access to this place? It's like, how did the priest know about this like highly secretive agency? And Kurt's like, tell him everything. And you find out Kurt knows the lady interrogator that's there, the lady agent that's there. And he's like, just tell him everything. Tell him the truth. So Daniel's just spilling everything. When my brother, he was killed, his spirit showed up, he possesses me, we become this creature. The lady just punches him right in the face. And Kurt's like, well, I didn't really expect that to happen, but she's a little aggressive. The man that's in there, the agent, you find out that he's the boss, and we'll get his name here in a little while. And the lady agent that is in there, we find out that Kurt had an affair with her when he, married with his wife, and Daniel just gives it to him, basically. He's like, you son of a gun. He's like, you stole Amanda away from me, knowing how much I cared about her, how much I loved her, and you can't even stay faithful to her? He's like, what the fuck, dude? And Kurt's like, look, and we'll find this out later. Kurt's basically like, you just don't understand the life I have. And I forget the lady's name. I think we'll get it here in a minute. But he's like, you just don't understand. She is in the same line of work that I am. And when you go home and your wife is asking you how your day was, what am I supposed to do?
It's like a True Lies or Mr. and Mrs. Smith type situation. Exactly.
He basically tells Daniel, how am I supposed to go home to Amanda and tell her how my day was? Oh, I killed 20 people, honey, or blah, blah, blah. He's like, I can't. He's like, I can't do that. He's like, I'm
still a douchebag.
He is still a douchebag. Totally agree. Kurt is still a douchebag, man. So they get put back into the holding cell, and Kurt's yelling at Daniel again to wake up. And when he wakes up, here's the big interrogator guy standing over top of him with like a syringe in his hand. He's like, okay, you're going to come with me, after I give you this. And we find out that he's going to try to interrogate Daniel, probably the same way he did Kurt, probably.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And it's like, well, how the hell did he get into this place? It's like, is this place got like an open door policy? Anybody can just fucking get in here?
It's not so secret, man.
Yeah, and Kurt tells him, he's like, look, this is the dude that killed me. He's like, this is the interrogator. He's a freelancer which you find out he's a freelancer that the agency actually hires to do interrogations. And Kurt tells Daniel, he's like, look, this guy's the one that killed me. He's like, I don't think he was the one that ordered me dead, but he's the one that carried it out. He's the guy that killed me. So they fight him. And they become Haunt. They fight him. Pretty good little fight going. This guy, he's got some blades. He stabs Haunt. They end up killing him. Like, they just crush his head, rip his guts out. I mean, it's pretty brutal. It's pretty graphic in this comics, which Which, I mean, it's Image, it's Kirkman, it's McFarland. I expect that.
Yeah.
Which I have nothing against graphic violence in comic books. That's fine. So they kill him, and Daniel passes out. And you find out that the female agent actually does believe what Daniel said, but she wants him to say something that only Kurt would know about her or something that between them before she could fully 100% believe Daniel. And Kurt puts his hands on Daniel's shoulders and leans over and just says, Autumn leaves. She starts bawling. She leaves. And that's the moment Daniel finds out that Kurt cheated on Amanda. And that's when Daniel just boils into him. He's like, you son of a bitch, you blah, 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 blah. It just gets into him.
Because it's more than once.
Yeah, it's more than once. That's for sure. Kurt been putting that seed out there a few times. So you find out that the woman who had orchestrated Kurt to be killed is actually part of this agency. She's Assistant Director Rhodes. So we find out she's probably the mole because we find out that they have been investigating a possible mole in the agency. That some information has been getting out that shouldn't be getting out. And we find out probably from her, especially when she was the one that killed Kurt. And of course, nobody in the agency knew this was happening. Mm-hmm. This was just her hiring that interrogator guy to do it. So she's talking to the main boss, and I can't remember if I wrote his name down. Director Stans is the main boss. And, like I said, she's assistant director, so she's right below him.
Is he the African-American guy?
Yeah, he is. He's the African-American guy. Yeah, he's the director. I guess he would be kind of like Nick Fury of S.H.I.E.L.D. He's the head boss of that agency, supposedly. Then we get two guys from the agency. They show up to Amanda's work, and she works at a hospital, apparently, from the way I was taking it from reading that. I think she works at like a hospital or a doctor's office.
Okay, that makes sense.
Not a lot of exposition on her character in these first 5 issues, maybe later on. These two agents show up because after this attack by the interrogator, Daniel and Kurt are like, we need to get her. And even Director Stans, he's like, we need to go get her because she might be still in danger. So they send two agents to go get her from her job. And of course, they are right that she is in danger because on the way back to the agency, they're attacked. The van and the guys are attacked. And they're not really, they're kind of just nondescript bad guys, kind of hired thugs, basically, that kind of attack them. And they get their communications cut off. So Daniel and Kurt, as Haunt, go after her to protect her because the agents, they're dead. They killed the agents. Don't seem like two guys. So they kill all the bad guys, and they get rid of them and everything. You find out that Rhodes covers up. She makes this lie, and she's on the telephone talking to somebody. We don't know exactly yet who she's talking to. We find out that she is going to cover up how the interrogator got in there. So she lies to her boss and basically says, he had some out-of-date codes, and somehow they got put back in use, and I don't know. It has to be that mole that we're looking for. But trust me, boss, I'll figure it out. I'll find out what's going on. Yeah, and at this time, he didn't have a clue, that she's dirty or anything yet. And he's like, okay. He's like, if you need to reach me, I'll be at my kid's ball game or something like that. He's like, okay, you're in charge right now. And Kurt, I don't think Kurt knows. No, because he never seen her. Because she was outside the room when the interrogator came. So I don't think he knows.
Right, yeah, she was in a separate room.
Yeah, he doesn't know. So, after Haunt takes out the bad guys and rescues Amanda, he collapses. Just out of the blue, he just kind of collapses, Because he can take damage, but it doesn't seem like it really bothers him. I guess the ectoplasm or whatever it is, the suit kind of protects him in a way. Mm-hmm. But he collapses just out of the blue. And you find out that he gets took back to the agency, and the medic that's at the agency tells him, basically the longer he and Kurt are together as Haunt, and I guess the more stress is on them, it physically drains like all the nutrients and all the minerals and stuff out of Daniel's body. So it's a symbiotic kind of thing. It's like it does, like I guess Kurt uses Daniel's living body to give them powers as Haunt.
Yeah.
So the less time he's as Haunt, and I guess the less stress that he's been putting on himself, it won't weaken him as quickly. It'll still weaken him, but not as quickly as it did this time around.
Because at this point, Kurt's pushing him pretty hard.
Dude, Kurt's pushing him real hard.
Yeah.
Real hard.
And that's what's draining him so fast.
Real hard. We see Cobra. He's in the hospital because after the last time him and Haunt got in a fight, and like Haunt messed him up a little bit. Didn't kill him, but messed him up a little bit. And you see that Amanda is before that, you see that Amanda's on the phone talking to somebody. And his name is Mr. Herg. He's a big, burly-looking fella.
He's almost like a William Fisk.
He is. It made me think a lot about Kingpin, except for this guy. He's got the gray long hair and a ponytail. But you can tell he's definitely loaded. He's got some money. He's an important person on the black market somehow. And you find out that Mr. Herg is the one who, I guess, paid Assistant Director Rhodes to go after this notebook. It's something to do with Schillinger's experiments that he wants to get hold of. He wants that information. Of course, for illegal purposes, of course. But he's talking to Cobra because he's also the one that hired Cobra to try to go after Daniel and everybody and find the notebook. He's telling them that, hey, we just got a contact by somebody that has the notebook, and we've seen prior that it was a female agent. The person who had come down in the shadows in the first issue and took the notebook. She contacts Mr. Herg and says, "Hey, I've got what you're looking for. For the right price, you can have it. We'll meet up in a public place." And Herg tells Cobra, he's like, "Look, you just stay in the hospital. You just get better. Basically, somebody's going to hand me the notebook. So we don't got to go through all this bullshit of trying to kill people. Somebody's just going to hand it to me." And we find out that the agent is another affair Kurt had.
What?
As well. And we'll get a little more information on that here in a second.
This guy just can't keep it in his pants.
But yet he stole his brother's woman.
See, that's really fucked up.
Mm-hmm. Right. They might reconcile as the time goes on, maybe. But so Director Stans, he tells Daniel about the sale, what's going on. So Daniel's like, "Look, we'll go there. We'll find out who is, going to be buying this notebook, and we'll make sure they don't get it because they can't get this information. They do not need to get the notes that Schillinger had wrote down for all of his experiments." So we find out that the name of the agent is Mirage. Her name is Mirage. I guess it's a code name, I guess. And they're meeting at a very public place. I think it's like was it a hotel? I think it was.
Yeah.
I believe it was a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So they're meeting at a public place to do the exchange. And apparently they know each other. Apparently Mirage knows about Herg, which makes sense. He's probably some underground boss that they probably had to fight before. They do the exchange, and just like all hell breaks loose. Because it's supposed to be a one-on-one. Of course, they both, which she actually did come on by herself. Herg didn't. Herg brought some muscle. So as soon as that exchange happens,
there's like 15 people surrounding them.
Dude, yeah, there's like
look like a mosh pit.
Yeah, there's this they just start coming out to start blasting their guns, because Herg's like, "Bitch ain't getting my money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take the money and the notebook." But they didn't expect Haunt to be there or the agency to be there, and at least I don't think they did. Herg didn't. Mirage might have, but Herg didn't. So they just hell just starts breaking loose. They just start fighting. The agents and Herg's people are opening fire on each other. People's getting shot. People's getting killed. Haunt takes down some of Herg's people. He saves Mirage because she's getting a little overwhelmed, I think. So Haunt saves her life. And he, in the process, one of Herg's, I don't know, are they bodyguards or are they just arm candy?
They were bodyguards.
Were they bodyguards?
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember if they were bodyguards or just arm candy. But he's got two beautiful women with him. And they're trying to protect him. And they're shooting stuff, so one of them gets shot. And he's not a good guy. But he shows a little bit of decency to him because he decides to leave the notebook laying on the floor and take one of his ladies to go to the hospital.
He's like, she's bleeding out. I'm taking her.
Yeah.
And he just leaves.
He just leaves. He's like, oh, fuck, the notebook. He's like, oh, come on, we got to take her to the hospital. She's dying.
I was surprised by that.
I was too.
Yeah.
And because, most comic book villains, they don't care about their henchmen.
No.
They're going to let them die and get the specific stuff they want to get,
So he's a better man than Kurt.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And we find out, kind of skipped over this, but we'll go back. We kind of find out the reason that Herg wants the notebook is because of the information and the experiments that Schillinger was doing. Was he was able to reanimate dead cells.
So essentially, it's almost like bring people back to life.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I guess that's why he was doing it on cadavers at first, because trying to do that. Mm-hmm. So he had found a way to reanimate dead cells and potential eternal life, almost immortality by doing that. And he started, like we said, he started experimenting on live people. And apparently this was unknown to the agency. The agency just thought he was experimenting on cadavers. They didn't know he was taking it to live subjects, because apparently if they had known it, they'd shut him down. So they didn't know that. And previously, before they went to the whole exchange, Daniel was shown the Bolivian boy that was covered in the growths, and says that he has a strength of 10 men and that the growths on his body feel no pain. So I don't know if they could have grafted those growths off and done something with that tissue or something. I don't know.
Well, still in the early experimentation
It was,
phase.
yeah. But saying that kid had the strength of 10 men, think of what would have happened if Schillinger would have perfected what he was doing. Just a military of...
They would have made Captain America.
Maybe zombified super soldiers or something, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they say. They say that he was in the process of possibly militarizing it. So that's why Herg wanted that. He wanted that because Herg wanted to probably sell it on the black market, or maybe be the new guy who made the super soldiers or whatever, But he really wanted that information.
Hell Hydra.
Yeah, basically. So, after everything goes down, like I said, Herg leaves the notebook to save his lady, so the agency gets the notebook back. Then this is when Assistant Director Rhodes shows her hand, because they get back to it and they go through everything that happened, and she's like, look, basically she's saying it kind of to herself. She's like, I've put too much time, too much effort into this. This is not how it's going to go down. She's like, this is still going to, we're going to go through with the plan. She shoots the director Stans in the head, point blank, kills her boss point blank in the head. This is when everybody's like, what? Mm-hmm. This is when you find out she's a bad guy.
Mole.
Yeah, exactly. You find out she's the mole.
Mole.
So she explodes like a big hole. She's had this whole plan, basically. She's got, explosion escape route. Because, they plan on selling the notebook to, I guess, the highest bidder, she's like, I want my money. If Herg's not going to go through with it, she's like, hell, I'll do it my damn self. I'll find a buyer for it. I'll find somebody else, I'm not letting this go. So she kills Stans, takes the notebook, blows a big hole into the agency, escapes. And you find, then of course we have another character. Her name is Beth, which was the female agent that interrogated Daniel. That was the first affair that Kurt had.
Gosh.
She becomes the new boss since Stans is dead.
And these are the days of our lives.
These are the days of our lives. So with the end of these 5 issues, Rhodes has escaped with a notebook. Unfortunately, I don't know what happens later on, but so the bad guy got away. 2 bad guys got away.
You think with them putting as a trade paperback, they would have collected it until like maybe the next issue to kind of give you some backstory on it?
I don't know if how many paperbacks it did, because again, it's like 28 or 30 issues. This was only 5. I don't know if they just did 5 per paperback, if maybe they increased the amount of issues. I really don't know. I need to look into that and see. But yeah, so the bad guy gets away. Assistant Director Rhodes gets away, takes the notebook with her. And then that's when they're like, oh yeah, she must have been a deep plant sleeper agent, because nobody knew that she was, part of this whole deal. And it's like, well, yeah, you got so many agents like that, people, if she's assistant director, she's number 2 boss. She knows how to cover her track. She knows how to hide stuff, that regular agents wouldn't be able to do that. So we cut from that to Daniel is sitting at a table outside, kind of like a little diner kind of thing, enjoying his day, having a little bit of brunch, a little breakfast or something. And him and Kurt are sitting there, and Beth, the new director of the agency, comes up to him and says, "Hey, the agency wants you to work for them. We think with you and Kurt being haunt, you guys might be an asset we can use because we still got to find this notebook. There's still bad guys out there that maybe just us human agents might not be able to handle. There might be things out there that you might be able to handle that we can't. So what do you say?"
And she's already got a card ready.
She's done got a membership card, a key card, whatever, So she comes up to him. She's like, "Hey, what do you say?" And Daniel, he's hesitant at first. He's like, "Oh, I don't know. After all the stuff we've been through, I don't know." And she tells him like, "Well, think on it. Think on it for a couple of days or whatever, and get back to me." So Daniel, he takes the ID card, and he looks at the card. He's smiling, and he looks at Kurt, and he's like, "Well, I guess this is my life now." And we fade to black, basically, and that's how we end these 5 issues. It's a good first arc. It is a complete first story arc. It's pretty good. It's really vague on some of the characters. Again, maybe as the book went on, maybe they got a little more in depth in Daniel and Kurt's relationship, and Amanda's relationship with Daniel, and why she would have left him for Kurt. But in these first 5 issues, it's kind of just introduce them, bang, bang, end it. It's like he kind of forgives Kurt for his 2 indiscretions, kind of.
It seems they should have slowed it down a little bit.
Yeah.
I won't say it's the worst comic I've ever read because it actually has some decent stuff in it.
It does have some decent stuff in it.
The art's great.
It is.
The writing, maybe it gets better as it goes. I don't know. Was this after Walking Dead? I'm assuming it was.
2009. It was during the Walking Dead comic. It was still going on, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I think it was.
All right. I'll forgive it.
Yeah. I know the TV show had just started, but I think the comics were still going on, I think. Okay. It doesn't really break it down in the paperback. I know it said they were co-created by Kirkman and Mcfarland. I think Kirkman did most of the writing.
Oh, it says at the front.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah.
My bad. I forgot.
No, you're good.
It's been a couple of weeks since I read it, so I forgot.
So the writer is Kirkman.
Okay.
They're both creators. And then the pencils, it wasn't Capullo.
Oh, it was Ryan Otley.
Otley.
Okay, now what's the difference? Now, you're a little bit more...
layout?
Yeah.
Okay, so Greg Capullo did the layout. So he'd do like the storyboards of it. Be like, okay, this is...
Like the storyboards of like an animated movie or something like that. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Otley would do the actual script. And then it said Todd was the inker. But I feel like some of the art...
He's a tracer. You ever seen Jay and Silent Bob?
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say...
I feel like though that Todd, I know he did the covers.
Yeah, you can tell because he labels them.
I was going to say he did the covers. I feel like some of the internal art kind of was Todd, but maybe it was just the covers, I guess.
Might have been inspired.
Might have been,
yeah. As an inker, he'd go through and actually color it.
Yeah, just trace what Otley would have drawn.
He's a tracer.
Yeah, he's a tracer, yeah. So Kirkman is a writer. Like I said, I'm like you. I don't hate it. It's not the worst comic I've ever read. I've read worse.
Yeah.
But it did seem like and again, because I looked it up, it is supposed to be a self-contained first story arc. So I guess maybe Kirkman felt like he needed to rush it a little bit.
Maybe to give people's attention. But...
I guess the first 5 issues were your introductory issues to these characters. And then 6 through 18 was Kirkman and Mcfarland working on it. So I don't know what they did with that. And then 19 till 30 was the other 2 fillers, which, like I said, they introduced it to the Spawn universe. So good Lord, now telling how wacky it got after that. So,
well, I say at least at this point, if you're a fan of Spawn or you're a fan of, the one particular Venom, the one that was an agent.
Oh, Toxin? Was it Toxin?
No. He was actually, he's the Venom you liked.
Oh, Flash Thompson's.
Yes.
Agent Venom, yeah.
Agent Venom.
Yeah.
I think if you're a fan of that, you'd probably be a fan of this.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, and if you love Kirkman and you love Mcfarland, It's worth picking up.
Yeah, it's something different. I mean, it ain't your typical 3, so.
No, and like I said, I have no idea where the story goes from here. I have no idea how bad it got with the new guys that took over at issue 19, but all I know is for sure it got included into the Spawn universe, so I'm guessing Spawn or Spawn characters guest starred, or he guest starred in Spawn comics possibly.
He fit in really well with Spawn.
He would. And there was an action figure made. McFarland did make an action figure, and it's a really nice figure. I didn't pick it up, but I might pick it up one of these days.
Yeah, it'd be worth it.
So, yeah. So that's our overall thoughts of it. I hope you guys enjoy it. It's something different. I wanted to throw a little something out there, kind of left field. We hadn't done an image book yet. I don't know how fans really feel about it.
It looks like if you want to pick up, the paperback is around $10-15. I looked up the single issues.
Mm-hmm.
The first issue is about $20.
Yeah, I looked on mycomicshop.com. They are not too terribly expensive.
No, the rest of them are like standard price. So
yeah, they're not too bad at all, no.
if you want the originals. But yeah, I'd say if you're into that kind of world, that's what I'd recommend it for.
For sure. Yeah, the kind of the supernatural. After finding out he was in the Spawn universe, I actually can kind of see Spawn influences, of course, McFarland.
Well, yeah.
You know, but it definitely fits into the Image comic universe.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, it does.
It does.
You've been recruited for a top secret mission. What are you talking about?
We're going back in time to the first Thanksgiving to get turkeys off the menu.
Who are you talking to?
This guy right here.
So yeah, that'd be our main review for today. But now we're going to jump into some. Got any questions?
We have no questions, but instead of doing questions, we're going to Thanksgiving.
All right, hang on. I got to loosen my belt up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Dan is loose now. Okay.
So we asked on our Discord and asked on Facebook like what people's favorite Thanksgiving foods or traditions were.
Oh yes.
So
Had a lot of responses. Thank you guys for that.
I'll just read a few of them here. Late to Gaming said his mom's homemade rolls were awesome.
Ooh.
Very crypt. She said her mom makes crawfish cornbread, and it's amazing, which she's from Louisiana, so.
I love crawfish. I bet the cornbread is great.
Yeah, she's down at the bayou. She eats all kinds of great shit. Let's see, Vampiro. He said his great-grandma's chocolate chip cookie recipe was handed down before she passed. So it's kind of like he still has her around when they make these cookies.
That's awesome, yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
That way you always have her memory around, yeah.
What's your favorite foods
Favorite foods?
for Thanksgiving? For Turkey Day.
Yeah, I'm more kind of traditional. I'm more ham than I am turkey. I do like turkey to a point, but I don't know. I've got more into the whole spiral ham kind of thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Mashed potatoes and gravy. Deviled eggs is a must. It ain't Thanksgiving if you ain't got deviled eggs, in my opinion. Mac and cheese sometimes, it's not a have to. Rolls. Me and one of our coworkers was talking this morning about green bean casserole. I don't know if you've ever had it before. I've had it on a couple occasions. It's not a have to, but I like it. If not, just regular green beans are fine. So yeah, just kind of the basics. Dessert. Everybody says pumpkin pie. I do like pumpkin pie, but one of my aunts used to make kind of I just call it like a chocolate pudding pie, I guess you would call it that.
I know what you're talking about,
Yeah, I really like that. But, yeah, I'm kind of traditional. Nothing really wacky out. At least I don't think it's wacky, in my opinion. So what about you, man?
Yeah. Well, all right. I don't like Thanksgiving food at all.
None of it?
None. Turkey, it can go to hell.
What about chicken? You can put chicken?
Well, chicken's fine, but like stuffing, I don't like stuffing. I don't like casseroles. I don't like deviled eggs. Yeah. So what we do, because my wife, she doesn't like most of it either. So what we do is we get hot wings.
Yeah.
So I guess we do chicken.
Yeah.
It's hot
So
wings.
there you go. Yeah.
And pizza rolls.
Okay. Hey, man, that's a tradition.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. It's not one I would think about at Thanksgiving, but hey, man,
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah.
You know,
Is that that's it? Just the wings and pizza rolls, nothing there?
Oh, dude, I'll make like 50 wings, so yeah.
Okay, so it's like a whole big
Yeah.
platter. Oh, okay, I got you.
I'll make like
okay.
2 trays of wings and then a whole mound of pizza rolls.
Hell yeah, man. Now, your wing sauce, are you a really spicy kind of sauce, or are you more of a mild sauce? Or?
I'll do anything from mild to spicy. I don't really care.
Anything mild spicy?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome, yeah. Hell yeah, man. Oh,
Yeah.
great.
So yeah, I get all kinds of evil looks whenever I go to people's houses. But you know what? Hey,
it's your tradition, man. This is our Thanksgiving episode, so we hope that everybody has a happy Thanksgiving, a safe Thanksgiving. Hope you're enjoying your family, your friends, your loved ones. You're filling up on all kinds of food, whether it's traditional food, whether it's Sean's whether it's Sean's pizza rolls and hot wings, whatever it may be. I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving, and we will catch you next time.
Dan, you're forgetting one very important thing.
Wait, what?
All right. Well, actually, 2 very important things. One, our great listeners, they want to reach out. They want to tell us stories. They want to tell us what they're eating for Thanksgiving.
I got excited about food. I'm sorry.
How do they go about this?
We got so many ways to contact us, people. We got a Facebook. We got an Instagram. We got a Discord.
Got Discord. We'll put the link in the comments.
We also have a YouTube channel. If you want to add comments or anything, suggestions on there. Sean, we have also got an email.
We have an email. It's magical.
It is magical.
It does all kinds of wonderful things.
Sometimes it'll ding at you sometimes.
I like being dinged.
You like being dinged, yeah.
So if you want to ding me, go to geekswithbeardspod@gmail.com and just ding away. You can put whatever you want in the subject.
Yeah.
Surprise me.
We'll answer anything.
Yes.
No editing here.
Yeah.
Nothing like that. We read anything. This is a place to be free and say what you want to.
Yep. You want to know if Dan's going commando right now? Write it in. We'll find out together.
You don't have to wonder. No, but seriously, guys, enjoy the Thanksgiving holiday.
Oh, and number 2.
Yeah.
What are we going to be reading next?
I don't know.
We didn't plan for this.
We didn't plan for this.
All right. So.
We're bad hosts.
All right. Well, we got our Christmas pick already.
We do have a Christmas pick, and I'm excited about that one. That's another thing I've never read, so I'm excited about that.
We both never read. That'll be the first thing neither one of us has read.
Ooh.
So that's exciting.
Okay, that is exciting.
Whose pick is it next? Me?
Yeah, it's yours.
We'll do something easy, something short, and something we haven't done yet. Let's do an X-Men comic.
Ooh, yes, X-Men.
We'll do X-Men number 1.
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
So we'll get to see all kinds of cool stuff.
Hell yeah, man. I don't think I've ever read the X-Men number. You talking about like the original
Yeah.
stuff? Ooh, okay.
Stan Lee and Jack Kirby themselves.
I don't think I've ever read that. I know they reprinted it several times. I don't think I've ever read it, though.
Yeah, so.
I know of it. I don't think I ever read it, though.
It actually reads pretty good.
Does it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that'll be a good in-between Thanksgiving, Christmas episode right there to do.
Yep.
So, yeah. All right, guys, we got it planned out. Next episode, episode 13, will be X-Men number 1 from 1963?
Yes.
1963. All right, guys. We'll catch you next time, and happy Thanksgiving.
Turkey, sir. How do we address it?
With cranberry sauce.
Geeks with beards. Geeks with beards. Look who's here. Geeks with beards. No need to fear. We're right here. We got beards. So listen clear. Geeks with beards. Geeks with beards. Look who's here. Geeks with beards. No need to fear. We're right here. I'm in your ear. So listen clear. No one else doing it like us. Also, we just might cuss. Just cause. No, we ain't playing. And we're just saying. And we're making a podcast. It's cold.